Hello and welcome to Unspooled. Today, in the final part of our three-part series looking at the prequel/reboot trilogy to Planet of the Apes, we are reviewing from earlier this year, War for the Planet of the Apes, directed once again by Matt Reeves, starring Andy Serkis and Woody Harrelson in this film. This is a solid and very well done ending to this trilogy. Everything in here is very good. Serkis is great again. The effects are great. Woody is great, although a bit way too evil, maybe, for kind of what I loved about Dawn was how nuanced the characters are for the most part. And this film abandons that mostly on the human side, especially. Like pretty much all the humans here are just evil people here. Which, you know, is believable, would probably be how this scenario would actually play out, would be all the humans would be complete and total evil idiots. But,
yes,
you know, this is a movie, we can go a little unbelievable here and make it a little more nuanced where some of the humans understand the apes' plight and understand the apes' issue here. Now, this movie also kind of takes us into weirder territory from like an allegory standpoint where, you know, lots has been made historically about the Apes franchise that, you know, if you wanted to, you could read into the subtext of the movie that the apes are a stand-in for racial minorities. This movie takes us in that territory a bit here too. That is pretty apparent in here. If you want to read it that way, you don't have to. But if you want to, it's pretty obvious in here that they're going for that a little bit. It's even more obvious in Dawn than it is in this one. But that stuff aside, you know, this film does give us that there's still a lot of room for more sequels between this film and the original, but we're not going to be guaranteed them. This film doesn't leave a cliffhanger for us to explore. You know, so that's kind of nice that, okay, we know there's possibility here for sequels, but we're not going to be guaranteed it because of this stupid ending that makes it so that we have to have one here. All around, I did quite enjoy this one, but I did feel that this film was a bit of a disappointment coming off the high point of Dawn and could have been a lot better, but it is still very good and a fun movie-going experience. I gave it an 84%. And then after you wrap your review, I have a little bit more to add here.
Okay. As you said, this movie ends the new trilogy. And though it isn't bad, it isn't up to, I don't think it's up to the first two movies in the trilogy. The CGI is, you know, once again, it's just remarkable. I don't know if it's the same crew or what, but they did remarkable CGI work in all three movies. I thought the plot was a little bit worse than before, though in this trilogy, I mean, this plot had to be almost what it was. They could have had a little different stuff in it. I actually, I mean, there's not many movies I can think of that I like Woody Harrelson in. I did like him in Cheers, but a lot of movies he's been in, I haven't really liked him. But I liked him in this movie, so he did good. He was evil, and he played it up to the hilt. You know, it's hard to know what humans, you know, what we would do when we're going to be threatened as the dominant species on Earth, but I have a feeling that we're going to do exactly what these guys did and try and exterminate any threat like that. and that's what they certainly tried to do.
Well, yeah, it would either go this way or it would go the District 9 route where we imprison the other group and force them to be horribly mistreated and our slaves, essentially.
Yeah.
So, it'd go one of those two routes.
Right. Okay. The war per se isn't much of a physical war between the humans and the apes. I personally thought it was more of like a war that's inside us and the apes on how, the conflict's tearing us apart, because we don't really want to be at war with each other, but it just happens. I thought it was a decent wrap to the trilogy, but it could have been better. It did seem to drag to me in the middle. So my final rating for this movie was at 80.
Okay. Now, if you don't want spoilers in the episode now, I would like to bring up here how we get from this movie to the original Planet of the Apes here. Because what this trilogy has inadvertently done is made it call into question the logic of the first movie. Because the logic of the original is that this astronaut, I forget, either he's exploring and crash lands on a planet or he goes to explore this other planet, right? So either way here, still, the logic here from getting here to there is that humans are eventually run off of Earth and forced to go live on another planet somewhere. Do you not think that would be noted somewhere? That, oh yeah, in 2084, apes forced us off Earth and we had to relocate to this new planet. So here are the coordinates of Earth. Don't go near it here, folks. Would that not have been noted somewhere?
Well, you would think so.
How would you forget about that? I don't really know how one would forget that. But that's what we're supposing here when we jump from this one to the original, that the events of this trilogy were forgotten at some point, that humans collectively forgot they were forced off planet Earth and moved to a new one.
Well, the other question I have, which I'll look up real quick here if I can.
Now, the one thing that I was hoping, or maybe thinking could happen in this trilogy, is that once we got the first one where you get the whole this was a medical virus explanation thing, my thinking was going to be oh, maybe they're going to shoot all of the apes into space to another planet. They inhabit this other planet and rebuild it to look like Earth because that's what they're familiar with, that's what they know. And so then we would get into the whole, well, the original, that planet wasn't actually Earth, that was the ape mock Earth planet. But we didn't go that route here. We're clearly established this is Earth that is being overtaken by the apes one way or another here. So we're going to have to leap to the conclusion that humanity collectively forgot about that occurring, which, I know humans aren't the smartest of individuals half the time,
right.
But I don't think that would be a logical conclusion to draw. But that's where we have to go here, I assume.
Yes. Well, it does say the original Planet of the Apes. It tells the story of an astronaut crew who crash lands on a strange planet in the distant future. Now,
okay, so they crash land. Okay, that would make more sense then, at least.
I was looking. I don't see it in here. If the main monkey in that first one was Caesar.
I doubt it, since he dies at the end of this one.
Well, that's true.
That's
true. I was going to say, because if it was and it's in the distant future, that would not make much sense then.
Right.
So yes, it's distant, which who knows how long. But to me, that's the same as like Star Trek. You know, they forget all about Earth because they've been in space so long, apparently. So,
well, that's a little different. You're not exactly run off planet
you're not
Earth
run off.
by, apes rising and taking over the planet.
Right.
I would think you would make note at least that happened. I would,
You would think so.
You would know that occurred in the past, but okay.
But once again, we like to get rid of history we don't
yes.
like.
Well, yeah.
So maybe when we jump to a new planet, it's like, hey, it's
illegal. We started over.
It's illegal to discuss this. We are not discussing that.
I guess. Okay.
We will never ever go back there.
I guess. This all here that I'm conjecturing may be established in the original sequels to the original, but I've never bothered to watch those, so maybe this stuff is established at some point in those. But
maybe. I seem to recall maybe, but I don't recall.
That would probably help if I would watch those. But anywho, that's going to do it for this episode of Unspooled. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more great content like this. And until the next episode, goodbye.